Greetings and God bless. I just wanted to do a video about roommates and landlords. So, what I notice is landlords, they want, a clean, tidy, responsible, respectful, safe person that's not making things unpleasant for everybody. But then the landlord themselves don't fulfill those things. They're like, oh, well, I get to have a double standard because I'm the landlord. And that really doesn't create a good um, environment. It doesn't create a sense of fairness because it's just this very classist, or I don't know what the word is. It's just really mean spirited to be like, oh, you have to clean up after my dirt. You have to clean up my slime that I leave in the sink or on the floor or whatever. You have to clean up after my animals or whatever. And and it's interesting because I noticed landlords are like, oh, yeah, this person was so nice, but they left after a while. And, oh, I'd like it if people would stay, or I'd like it if people would talk with me. And perhaps, the world is so difficult, and people are so clueless and defensive that they won't bother to learn why nice people don't stay roommates, don't stay friends, don't interact. And when somebody is being an abusive jerk, and I know that abusiveness is now the norm. Abusiveness is the norm in the workplace. It's the norm in relationships. It's the norm how parents are treating their children, or even how treating children are treating their parents. How teachers are treating the students. How the government is treating the people. So abuse is the norm. We're in the days of Lot and Noah. So, but anyways, if you are a naturally mean, selfish, abusive person, but you see the value that having a nice, honest person rent a room from you, um, like you can't have these double standards. Like if and you can't have this gratuitous, like sadistic behavior towards nice people. They won't want to interact with you. Um, and that's it. And why should they? You do not deserve to torture people. You do not deserve to abuse people. I know you think you do. I know you think you get to be that psychic vampire because you're demonized. But if you've got, if you want to be around decent human beings that are not demonized or not so demonized, you need to contain your evil behavior. And for example, I was staying with somebody, and uh, I'm a very low impact person. I don't want to burden people. But by surely existing, you do. Certain people will find everything about you a burden because they are not taking care of themselves. What I notice is a lot of women are under eating. They're trying to have this 12-year-old figure, and they're a mother of two or something like that. And so they're in this starvation mode. And what do you do when you're constantly starving? When you're starving yourself for years? How does that work out for a woman who's keeping super busy, constantly busy? And this is what I notice is there's these women, they're living off of supplements like powders and stuff like that with the tiniest meal, like eating like 1 ounce of food a day, even maybe less. I've noticed this, and these women become psychotic. They become, I'm not, I don't mean in the formal sense of the word, because I don't know what the formal sense of the word is, but they become vicious, mean, reactive, just crazy, like that they jeopardize their own well-being. They jeopardize their own um, everything. I mean, they jeopardize themselves, and they are willing to jeopardize everybody else around them because they're in this weird, maybe reptile brain kind of a thing, because they're starving. They're in the starvation thing, and starving is their idol. I have seen this with Christian women. I've seen this with health coaches. Women, the most important thing to them, above everything, above world peace, above the safety of their children, they want to be thin. That's all. They want to have a size zero, a man's size zero body type. And so, and they end up with a man size two, and it's like they're never going to be an emaciated skeleton as much as they try because they're a biological woman. And so anyways, I noticed this like kind of evil behavior, but not just with women. I noticed this with men. And people like to play like these sadistic head games. They like to think that they can dominate. And what I'm wondering is if some gamers are psychopathic because they just don't interact with people. They don't have analog face-to-face interactions with people, and so they're using the sadistic, heartless, one-dimensional behaviors that they live in the video game world, and they think that it applies to humans, and they think that they can treat human beings like a non-player character. And they I think some people enjoy the disgust and the humiliation and the disturbance that they cause. I think some people are sadistic and they enjoy causing pain. But these sadists, these malignant narcissists, these psychopaths, they want you to treat them like they're nice people. But they're evil. They're sadistic. They want to hurt you. They would stab you and want you to say thank you. They're some messed up people, and they're many. I think the majority now are these psychotic, psychopathic people, whether they're underfed, health conscious women who are starving themselves, whether they're overfed gamers who are trained to be psychopaths, like have no heart, have no sense of humanity. And these underfed women have no sense of humanity because they're just in starvation mode. When you are in starvation mode, you're not benefiting the world. But that's a lot of people, a lot of women who think that they're being responsible. They're like, my goal is to have a size zero, and that is my responsibility. And yes, I'm going to have a full career and have all these children and have this house and have these cars and do all this travel and blah. And it's not sustainable. And even though these women are able to live through it, that doesn't mean like they're not making the world a better place, because they're just worshiping an idol, and an idol that's not relevant to their children, to their communities. Like, I'm not saying become overweight, but be your weight. Be the weight that's appropriate for a mother of two. That's whatever in your um, in your activity level. And if we look at traditional women, they're curvy. They can have some weight here and there, and but that doesn't mean they were unhealthy. And I know that there's a lot of very, very inflamed people with a lot of water weight, and that's due to the environmental toxins we're exposed to, and stress, and so on. So anyways, but if you're a mean, sadistic person, but you really do see the value of having a nice person, you need to stop being mean and sadistic and gaslighting, lying to people. Like, I think I interrupted myself. So I was staying somewhere, trying to be low impact. That's when I interrupted myself. So I was like, where's, I couldn't find the kettle. And the person was like, oh, I left the kettle out for you, you know, talking to me as if I was just there a few hours. Like, I was just there maybe 8 hours, from the visit to sleeping and waking. And so I'm like, I didn't see the kettle. And then when I looked again, I could see that there was a kettle. Now, I don't even know if the lady had the kettle out originally, and maybe she, took it out after. But anyways, and when you're traveling, you're not doing a memorization of every single thing. Like, I'm not memorizing this bag here and this shadow here and this book here. I'm not doing that. Like, I'm interacting with the person, and my focus is on that, not doing a memorization of everything around me. So, but also just the attitude, the snarky, snotty, hateful, hostile. When I said I couldn't find the kettle, I put it right there. What? Like being all haughty, like what is up with that? Anyways, I think there's just these mean people who have no soul. They don't have anything in them, and they feed themselves by tormenting nice people who are don't have their armor up. They don't realize they're dealing with somebody evil, and and so then the evil mean person is just searching who's that next victim, who's that next victim, and so you know it would be nice if the mean people would just interact with the other mean people, so the other mean people know how to say fuck off, don't treat me like that. um, so but they don't. Mean people are like, I'm not going to put up with a mean person, and it seems like the mean people really know how the system works, because they're satanic. Satan rewards them, and so they're able to be independent. But some nice people who, for some reason, they're not taken care of, like they don't know how to um, navigate the world. They're at the mercy of the sadists and the narcissists and so forth. Because, uh, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of nice people out there who have offer affordable housing. For instance, I've been in the search for years, and I have met one super nice person, and in the end, the toxic another toxic renter was so abusive. I think that that nice person stopped. Like he passed on the responsibility to somebody else to manage. So it seems like nice people are like, what, I don't want to have anything to do with uh, these to do with deal with people. I think. um, and then the sadists are like, oh, I need to feed off of somebody, so I'm gonna open up a space and see what I can get out of these people. So I'm gonna charge them. I'm gonna overcharge them for rent. And I know there's gonna be a lot of landlords who are like, oh, you're not over. No, it's not over. Like I've been looking at mortgages, and it seems like mortgages are like what, 200, 300 maybe, and you're charging like 500 for each room. Like that that seems like, and landlords are like, well, I have to have my $250,000 car and my travel and pay for this college for, I'm not saying cars and college and travel isn't great, but um, it's exploitation of people who can't afford to buy a house or don't know how to navigate the whole thing. Um, like I don't know. And this is just my belief. It's my philosophy that if you have resources and if you are a landlord, you're doing a service. It's not that we're doing you a service. It's not that you're supposed to extricate every last bit of money that you can from us. But that seems to be the case. It seems like landlords are like, how much money can we get from not only the renter, but the renter's parents, the renter's grandparents, everybody? If you look at like New York City, if you look at the average expected wage, it's supposed to be like the average wage in New York is listed as $6,000, and we know that that's not the case for everybody. But even so, rent is it's supposed to be a third of what your wage is. So let's say, so it should really be, rent in New York should be $2,000, but it's like $4,000 a month, and landlords are just expecting. They're like, I'm gonna double it. I'm gonna double it. I'm gonna double it. Like they think it's like some sort of game. They don't realize it's people's lives. I mean, and they do realize it's people's lives, and they don't care. I was talking to this guy who was on a super strict budget. I think he was disabled, and he was on this income restricted, in this housing thing. So his rent was affordable. But he said that once he gets some sort of loan or whatever, he's going to double the rent. So the other people who are also like elderly and disabled, so they would be kicked out. And it's just like, it's weird. There's like this evil demon of greed, I think, that even vulnerable people are buying into. They're just like, oh, like, it's too bad if I'm going to make people homeless, because that's what you do when you have unreasonable rents or uninhabitable housing. Like, just everything I have found is like uninhabitable. Like places are just not up to code. Like having a proper ventilation for cooking and so forth. So, and again, I just am praying, Lord Jesus Christ returns and that we have the rapture, because I don't feel like this world is habitable for biological life. So, uh, yeah, that's my little rant about abusive landlords and people in general that are predators targeting nice people. Like, yeah, you know that nice people are good to have around. You know that they just have a nice vibe. They improve the home. They're nice to your children and your pets. They're safe. Your pets are safe. Your children are safe. Your belongings are safe. But you can't stop. Don't play head games. Don't do this gaslighting. I know your demons want to feed, but find God, find the Lord Jesus Christ. It really will help you out in the end. If you really are caring about your best interest, think about your eternity, your eternal soul. There might be just a little bit of it left. So, Lord Jesus Christ will help you if you ask. But yeah, so those are my 2 cents. Thanks for watching. God bless.